Alright, so the purpose of this video is for me to go over the assignment that you guys had last week on claim evidence and reasoning. I just want to explain what the expectations are. So claim evidence and reasoning is just a way of writing a conclusion about an information. A lot of times you do an investigation, and after that investigation you have your claim, evidence, and reasoning. Here I already gave you the data, and sometimes you have a research question, but here I left open for you to come up with your own claim. So a claim is just a major pattern that you observed. In the case of an investigation, would be the answer to the investigation, right? Evidence is data. Okay, so what is the scientific data that supports your claim? And then reasoning in here, it says the underlying reason for what's going on, but also, okay, so the reasoning here is not fully, also is a way to tie them together, show how and why the data counts as evidence to support your claim. Okay, so you need to tie them together on the reasoning. When I was grading your assignment, I was really focusing on claim and evidence. I wasn't too much focusing on reasoning. I do want to work with you guys later on reasoning, but I want to make sure that everyone has the claim and evidence down. One of the biggest problems that I found with evidence was people not citing units. You have to have a unit. If you're talking about time, you need to specify as a PM, AM. If you're talking about height, in this case it was height, you need to refer to feet. So numbers without units are incomplete. Okay? In order for a number to have full meaning, it needs to have a unit. Okay? So units are very important. All right, so this is the work of one of your peers, and I just took their name out, and I'm just showing you the work that they done. So here's their claim. The water level rises. By the way, this is a graph of the water level around Alcatraz Island in San Francisco, and it's just the level of water at different times of day. Okay, so the water level rises in the morning and lowers in the evening. Okay, so that's a good claim. That's a major pattern observed here. Note here, the evidence is right here. So 5 to 6 feet, which is the highest, and all the time in the morning, and then 0 to 2 feet all the time in the evening. Notice that there is no interpretation of the data. It's pretty much just extracting data from the graph. A lot of you mentioned, based on the graph, and then didn't mention data at all. So there's a lot of data here. You need to be more specific. So just referring to the graph is not enough. Okay, you actually need to put numbers down. You actually have to come here and put numbers down. Otherwise, it's an incomplete evidence. Okay, I'll talk about the reasoning in a moment. Let's just go look at the other examples. All negative donors can donate their blood to anyone. Okay. All recipients were able to use the O negative blood from the donor. I would actually change the evidence and just say that all recipients had a check mark, right? All recipients had a check mark for the O negative. Okay, so that would be even more objective. The claim here, carbohydrates are necessary in a healthy diet. I would say carbohydrates are recommended because this is what it says. It doesn't say anything about the necessity of them. It just says this is the recommended dose. Yes, you can assume that it's recommended because it's necessary, but again, in science, we don't read between the lines like that. We are very objective when we look at things. Okay, remember the whole misinformation thing. We try to be as clear and as objective as possible. So it says that this is the recommended dose, so I would actually, this is the recommended. Okay, and then I really like that this person just stated, right, the different percentages. Okay, so this is the evidence. There's no interpretation on the evidence. Here's another example from a different peer. Okay, again, a different claim. I saw so many different claims and most of them were so good. So claim, there were so many different kinds and that's totally okay. The evidence, again, the person just put in a different format, kind of the same idea. Notice that it has date, it has time, and it has height. Date, time, and height, because that's what they're claiming is the fluctuation. There is no interpretation. They're not saying this is high or it's low, it's good or bad. It's not saying anything like that. It's just pretty much this is what I see in a graph. I want to show you here. Yeah, so so let's go back in here. Sorry, let's go back. All right, so this is claim evidence and then the reasoning. A lot of you had a data interpretation under evidence, so it belongs to reasoning, and this person did not have the data interpretation in the reasoning. They only had what they think is going on for the fluctuation. So in that case, I would just put, it's very simple in here. You can just say in the morning, the water levels were high, whereas in the evening, the water levels were low. This, okay, and then you can say this may be due to, and then you can explain why do you think that is. And for reasoning, you don't always have to explain why it is the way it is. You just have to tie the claim with the evidence. And if you want to be really thorough, you can just actually put in data here, 5 to 6 feet. I cite 5 6 feet, and then if you want to be really thorough, you can just put the numbers in. Okay. Oop, I should have copied, but you get the idea. Okay, so this would be a reasoning that's tying the claim with the evidence as well as giving a reasoning. Okay, let's look at another example here. Carbohydrates are recommended in a healthy diet, and then you have the numbers here. Again, this person is not tying the claim with the evidence, but that's something I'm still going to work with you guys. I did not take points off for reasoning that's not tying them together because I was really focusing on claim and evidence. But I'm going to start working with you guys on reasoning once I make sure that everyone has the claim and evidence down. So in here, I'll just say carbs are recommended in a healthy diet as shown by the amount 40%, and then I'll go 40% average, 50% healthy, and 60% sports, right? So this claim it's okay. It's not the best. A lot of you had a really good claim saying that, and that's the one I would put it to, that sports require a great amount of carbohydrates. And that one I think is a really good claim. And then it's easier to make the point here. Okay. Some of you mentioned that carbohydrates are the best, or carbohydrates are the healthiest, so be careful with your claims. You cannot claim anything, even if it's correct, you cannot claim anything that it's not here, okay? Because then you won't have any data to support. And remember, the first time we met, we talked about what's science, and I said, in order to be a fact, you need to have data to support it. Okay, this is the data that you have available to you, so you can only make claims based on what's here. Okay, the biggest issue was evidence. You need to make sure, even if people can see it, even if people can see the graph, you need to write it down here. Okay, you need to state it here, and you need to state it in a way that's very objective. You're not interpreting, you're just reading the numbers and putting down here. All right, I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. A lot of you asked to redo and fix your claim evidence and reasoning. You're welcome to do that. The one word of caution, I will not accept any corrected work or any work that is very similar to your peer's work that I just shown here. So if I see any corrected work that's similar to what the peer has shown and I'm showing you in this video, I'm not going to accept it. Okay, so you can take the main ideas, but if you just copy from the work that I'm showing you here, I'm not going to consider it. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Bye bye.